Good morning. Today I am going to take a seminar on the topic podcast. We are not much familiar about what is podcast and its advantages. Really, podcast is a digital version of radio. Let me tell you more about it. A podcast is a portmanteau word combination of iPod and broadcast. The term podcasting was first introduced by Ben Hammersley in a newspaper article on 12th February 2004 titled Audible Revolution. Podcasts are audio file that is broadcast via internet and can be downloaded. A podcast is an episodic series of spoken word digital audio file that a user can download to a personal device for easy listening. Podcasts are series of digital audio and video recordings uploaded on the web with aid of rapid simple syndication feeds. As its name implies, podcasts originally referred to files downloaded to iPods. However, it has gained a broader scope over time encompassing other digital access tools than iPods. In its current sense, podcast generally covers audio or video files created or adapted to specifically serve a didactic purpose. Production. A podcast generator maintains a central list of the files on a server as a web feed that one can access through the internet. The listener or viewer uses special client application software on a computer or media player, known as Podcatcher, which accesses this web feed, checks it for updates, and downloads any new files in the series. This process can be automated to download new files automatically, so it may seem to subscribers as though podcasters broadcaster push new episodes to them. Files are stored locally on the user's device ready for offline use. History. In October 2000, the concept of attaching sound and video files in RSS feeds was proposed in a draft by Tristan Lewis. The idea was implemented by Dave Wiener, a software developer and an author of the RSS format. Podcasting, once an obscure method of spreading audio information, has become a recognized medium for distributing audio content, whether for corporate or personal use. Podcasts are similar to radio programs in form, but they exist as audio files that can be played at a listener's convenience anytime or anywhere. The first application to make this process feasible was iPodder X, developed by August Trometer and Ray Slakinski. By 2007, audio podcasts were doing what was historically accomplished via radio broadcast, which had been the source of radio talk shows and news programs since the 1930s. This shift occurred as a result of the evolution of internet capabilities along with the increased consumer access to cheaper hardware and software for audio recording and editing. Enhanced podcast, podcast novels, video podcast, live podcast are some of the variants of podcast. Podcast in language teaching. It offers language learners with samples of real language and authentic materials. Learners can listen to podcasts made by others. Students can produce their own podcast. Engages students in active exploration, observation, processing, and interpretation. Course casting lectures can be recorded so that students who missed a class can download it. These are the some of the podcast sites designed for learning language. I am concluding my seminar by discussing the major points. Podcast is a portmanteau word combination of iPod and broadcast. The term podcasting was first coined by Ben Hammersley. A podcast is an episodic series of spoken word digital audio files that a user can download to a personal device for easy listening. No matter what is the subject we are interested in, there are a chance for podcasts in it. Why don't we create ourselves a podcast? Thank you.